my thoughts. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watching cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sense
What the hell's going on, people? This is Periodic, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into global Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle in order to once again do our monthly legendary rare tier list. This is, of course, for LR characters in the global side of the game. I'm going to say that one more time in case you are in the back and you are not paying attention. This is for the global side of the game. So you will not see, as you can see on the bottom of the list, LR Jiren and LR Goku Vegeta, who are the only two at the moment Japan exclusive LRs, summonable, I should say, because you know they still have like Dabura and Babidi, and I think actually that might be it, which is a Battlefield. Oh, and Demon King Piccolo, actually, we still haven't gotten yet as of this recording. So we're still missing a few. We're doing things a little bit different. We have a lot of tiers, as you can see here, starting at Zeno or finishing at Zeno tier. That's the highest you can be. Zeno is you are the top of the top. Right underneath is Grand Priest tier. Underneath that is Guide Angel tier. Underneath that, God of Destruction tier. Underneath that, Supreme Kai tier. Underneath that, North, South, East, West Kai tier. Underneath that, King Yama tier. Underneath that, Kami tier. And last but not least, Master Roshi tier. So we're going to start from the bottom, go all the way up. I am not going to go as detailed as I have before in other videos, because usually I would tell you all of their skills and stats and stuff like that. But listen, you can look it up. You can easily go on dbz.space or dbz-dokkanbattle.fandom.com, or just Google Dokkan Wiki and find out all this information for yourself. All of a sudden I had to do the biggest sneeze of my life. So starting at the very bottom, we are going to have to throw who I do believe is the worst LR in the game. LRU, no, I'm kidding. Where are they? It's LR Goten and Trunks. LR Goten and Trunks is at the bottom of the tier list because essentially they are too wonky of a unit to be dependable. And what I mean by that is their super attack and their passive is random. So their passive will give them a random amount of ki from 3 to 9. And they also only give themselves attack when they super attack. They have no stats via passive whatsoever, unless if they're doing a super attack, which is unfortunate. And if you're getting 12 to 17 ki, you are literally doing less damage than you're supposed to, because his super attack at 12 to 17 ki lowers his own attack. And then you also have a chance of lowering your own attack and defense, which is just so dumb. Like, I understand it's kind of cute as like a card art. It's kind of funny and quirky. Like, hey, let's have the fat Gotenks and the skinny Gotenks. That's all cool and stuff. But like, why would you make him lower your own stats? Like, that's just so... It literally makes him not a good character at that point. And then when he does his 18 ki, that's when he actually gets good, right? He's got a 70% chance to turn into Super Saiyan 1 Gotenks and give himself 30% defense for one turn. And then he's got a 30% chance to turn into Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, which greatly raises attack and defense for one turn, which is really solid. But it's just not consistent. And like, his links make him so you can only really run him on like a Hybrid Saiyans or like a youth category, which is like no one's running youth category, and no one really runs the Intelligence Gohan to be able to run a Hybrid Saiyans. No one's running Strength Gohan to run a Hybrid Saiyans. We do desperately need a better Hybrid Saiyans, preferably an LR, a good lead. So that is the reason why he's down there. Moving right along, we're going to go with the Strength Broly. As you guys know, sometimes I move him a little bit up, sometimes I move him a little bit down. The reason why the Strength Broly is on this list is pretty simple. Like, his stats, he's the only summonable LR in here where his entire passive is just static numbers and not percentage based. Like, LR Goku Nappa has a like just stats that they add, but that's not their entire passive. This dude's entire passive is giving himself 80,000 attack and negating 20,000 defense. Now, I've talked about this before, that he is probably still the king for World Tournament. I mean, with Vegeta and Nappa coming in and absolutely wrecking him if they run up against him, and him not gonna... He's like, this dude might not possibly be able to double super attack and kill Vegeta and Nappa, and that kind of makes him. It really lowers his value because before he could do that to everybody, right? There was no really solid, good AGL unit that he would run up against in the World Tournament, and so now that there is, that really lowers his value. And not to mention, as I said before, he lowers his defense by 20,000. He raises his attack by 80,000. There is no percentage based on that. The reason why that's bad is defensively, it's not going to mean as much later on because he's going to get, 150% boost, 170% boost. Eventually, it'll be 200% leader skill boost. And so the defense will not matter as much because the negative 20,000 happens after his defense kicks in. So let's just say for whatever reason, leader skills and there's a support on the rotation, his defense is 100K, right? The negative 20,000 is going to drop him down to 80,000, which is like, all right, that's not as bad, right? Because his defense is getting higher. Eventually, let's just say he's up to 150,000 defense because, support passives are insane and all this stuff, right? Then he's just going to drop down to 130,000 defense. That's not bad. But same thing goes for his super attack. Okay, let's just say the crazy support passives and all that stuff eventually get his attack up to like 500,000. Well, the attack is only going to give him 80,000, so it's going to be 580 instead of a 100% attack bonus or 150% attack bonus, or God forbid, a Jiren 200% attack bonus, which will make his attack just astronomical. So that's why, like, he will be the most useless character later on because of his passive. It will make him just not able to mesh with the characters. So that's his big problem. And so moving right along, we actually have one more that we're going to add to this tier. And I've always been really hesitant to add this dude because, he's not only is he my favorite character, but I do think that he does a lot of damage. But at this point, I don't think I can really, I don't think I really have an excuse to keep him away from this bottom Master Roshi tier, and that's going to be Majin Vegeta. He's going to be put on the bottom tier simply because, like, okay, he's got a 20% chance to stun when he does his 18 key and his 12 key. And, like, the good thing about him is the fact that he has his Mega Colossal on his 12 key. Like, that's really, really good, so you don't have to get the 18 key. His 18 key is an attack all, by the way. But I really love that he has the Mega Colossal on his 12 key, which is really good. But again, he's got the Goten problem. 150% attack when he supers. So if he's not able to super, he's just not going to be able to do much of anything, right? And you have a 20% chance to stun, but if you're facing someone who can't be stunned, then you're just going to take astronomical amounts of damage. It would have been really nice if he had like a 20% defense boost and Cold Judgment. I think that would have made a lot of sense. But they didn't decide to give it to him. He does have like okay key links. He's got like Royal Lineage for 1 key. He's got Over in a Flash for 3 keys, Shadow the Limit for 2 keys. So that's pretty good. Like, I'm tempted to put him in the Kami tier, but I think I'm gonna hold off and leave him where he's at. So next, this actually might be a little controversial. These 2 picks actually, but you know what? We're gonna switch things up a little bit. Because I do think that sometimes I just have to kind of go with my gut. And if you don't agree, hey, it's your opinion, my opinion. You may have had better experiences with some of these units, or maybe you've had worse experience with some of these units. And so we can kind of talk about it, and I'm dying to hear what you guys think about this list. So next is going to actually be in the Kami tier, the boy who actually... Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So I really love this unit, but unfortunately, he has a problem. His main problem is that he only gives himself defense if he's doing his 12 key attack, because he actually loses defense when he does his 18 key attack, and I think that kind of sucks. So yes, he does insane damage. Yeah, he does insane damage. Like, when he does his 18 key super, 180% attack, phenomenal. Like, just ridiculous. He does have a rare chance to stun the enemy, and his 18 key greatly lowers defense, but it's like, who cares? Both of those kind of suck. But, dude, when this dude does an ultra super attack, he does insane damage. 55%, 4 million, 5 million, right? It's incredible. But if you want to take a hit then you have to 12 key super attack, because when you 12 key super attack, you keep your 120% defense bonus. And even that is not insane. Like with his LR stats, his defense is 13,900, which is like okay for an LR, but it's not going to be like through the moon, right? So that's going to make it a little rough. And of course, he doesn't have any defensive links. He does have a decent amount of attack links, which is really, really good. But that's what this guy is for. He's here to attack. He's here to do damage. He's here to, absolutely slap. But like I said, if he's doing that, then he will get slapped. That's my main issue with him, is that it's a one or the other type of thing. So it's a little annoying. This next one is actually... Some of you guys might go nuts on this one, but like I was kind of thinking about it, and it's like, this is one of the most unused units in the game. And like, yes, they're really good. Like, they're really phenomenal. But no one uses them because their category is like so wonky. And they only really work on their category. And the other category that they're on, they're never going to be used. So it's like, they're a great character, but like, they just have no use. It's the GT trio, bro. Like, I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, we have to judge these units on usability as well, not just how good their passive is, right? Because like, their passive can be incredible, but if their categories suck and their links are like wonky as hell, then what's the point? So like, these dudes have okay, like, not even okay, like Prepare for Battle, Shadow Limit, pretty good, right? Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Warrior Race are going to be better. Solid Support is going to be better. But then they have GT, and it's like, who are you going to put on GT on the Dragon Ball Secrets team? Who on GT is going to be on the Joint Forces team? You would never put these guys on Joint Forces, straight up. And what's even worse is you have to have a bunch of Dragon Ball Seeker allies on the team for them to be able to do great damage, right? Because essentially they give themselves 77% attack and defense only when performing a super attack. And then if they're doing an ultra, they give themselves another 77% attack. Now they do give themselves defense when they 12 key and 18 key, which is good. But I'm just like, we got to talk about how this guy, this team is, not a team, this trio is just never used. So that's the reason why I'm putting them so low. You can flame me in the comments if you want, but like, bro, tell me, please, when was the last time you used these three? Like, really, be honest. When was the last time you used these three? It's absolutely insane. So another unit that I'm actually going to put on here on the Kami tier is the Intelligence Gohan. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is simply because of other the same reason why I put others fairly low is the defense. Like, the defense is a big problem. Yes, they do mega colossal damage on their 18 key and their 12 key, which is extremely rare. There's like no one really that does that. Not to my knowledge, actually. If you guys know any other LR card that does their mega colossal damage on 18 key and on their 12 key, please let me know, because I'm actually not sure. So that's phenomenal. This is a damage unit. And the fact that they gain ridiculous amounts of damage when they grab key is phenomenal. And they grab more key. But they can't get hit. Like, I was debating putting them above Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but at least Super Saiyan 3 Goku has a chance of having defense. This dude doesn't. So that's the reason why I'm going to put him on the Kami tier. By the way, disclaimer, all of these units are phenomenal. Like, all of these units are still really, really good. Even the Goten and Trunks, they can still hit extremely hard if you're getting 18 key super attacks. Because they have high LR stats, they're still going to do somewhat decent in the majority of events. But we're rating it on all the new LRs that have come out since then. So like, we really have to be strict on, how well certain characters are being judged, because we can't just be handing out participation rewards, right? Like, I do want to say that these guys are very good, but let's judge them fairly, right? So next up, King Yama tier, Beerus and Whis. And yes, I'm going to put Beerus and Whis over some of these other units because at least they can go on multiple teams, right? They can be on Realm of Gods. They could be on Movie Bosses. They can be on Siblings Bond. They could be on Bond of Master and Disciple. You really only have to bring another Beerus on that team. Or another Whis. Now that we have a few Whis, like you can bring the Strength Whis, you can bring the Ally, the Support Whis. I forgot which one that is. You can bring the Tech Easy A Beerus. You can bring the physical Beerus. Like, you have a lot of options to pair up next to this Beerus. And that's all he needs, because he's going to link up perfectly with either Whis or Beerus. That's 4 options that you have to bring alongside of him. And so he can fit on a bunch of different teams, right? He also, if he gets hit, gives himself ridiculous amounts of attack and defense, and he recovers HP. And I love units that recover HP. So this dude is really, really good. He hits insanely hard, and I'm actually a big fan of the Beerus, though not so much that I'm going to put him really high, but as you can see, I did put him above certain units. Next one is one that I go up and down with constantly. I put this guy up and down. It's going to be the physical Cell. So this dude is pretty much a Super Battle Road unit. Like, he needs to have a bunch of enemies to fight to actually do decent damage. His defense is okay. The thing that saves him is the fact that he recovers HP, which is nice. And if he gets his 18 key, he can do okay damage. But again, he needs a lot of units to be able to do okay damage. His links are okay for all Cell units. I'm not really going to talk too much about this guy because, you know, he's been around for a long time. And, like, I could possibly put him on the Kami tier, but I wanted to give him a little bit more respect for that. Because I don't know, he like sometimes he surprises me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this guy's actually pretty good. And then other times I'm just like, oh, this dude's just useless, bro. Like, what are we even doing with this guy? One unit that's not useless, and I actually think has had one of the best glow ups of all LRs, is this physical Trunks. So this physical Trunks, 120% chance, 120% attack, which is great. 50% chance to crit, fantastic. And that was amazing back in the day when we didn't really care about defense, right? Dokkan events didn't really hit that hard. We didn't really have a legendary Goku event or anything like that. And so the reason why I thought like he wasn't particularly that great is his 18 key was raising defense. And back then, again, like I said, defense wasn't important. So it's like his 12 key and his 18 key were both raising defense. And I was like, man, what a waste of a super attack. The fact that he only raises defense, that sucks. But nowadays, it's like, dude, that is so important. I wish he raised it for more than just 3 turns. And he's got a 50% chance to crit, which is insane, especially because that makes him really good at 55%. If you don't have any dupes, that's fine. He's got built-in crit. He's got a built-in 50% crit, and then you have your free additional, which is great at 55%. His links are also pretty good with Royal Lineage and Cold Judgment. Again, 20% defense bonus. That's really, really solid. I was debating putting him higher, but we will leave him here for now. Now, another unit that, again, usually you would put them higher, but because they are kind of restricted, I'm going to have to put them on the same tier, which is hilarious to me, but I am going to have to put them on the same tier as the physical Trunks, and that is going to be the Trunks and Mai. Where are you? You two little rascallions. There you are. Trunks and Mai, I'm going to put them on the same tier, and really only for the reason of they have to have time travelers on their team to be able to be good, to be able to do a lot of damage. Now, if they do have time travelers on their team, they do a lot of fantastic things. They do a lot of damage. They give themselves a lot of ki, obviously when they're facing a Future Saga enemy. And they have a good chance of stunning when they super attack. But if you're not on like a time travelers team, like if you're on like Joint Forces or like Revenge, where you could only have like one time traveler on there, right? Then you'll just be at like 80% attack and defense, which is not particularly good. Like, that's not like, oh my goodness, this dude is great, 80%. You really want a ton of time travelers, and that's going to put you at that 140% attack and defense, which is fantastic. But, like, would you really pick LR Trunks and Mai over some of the other fantastic time travelers that are out there? He probably would be one of my last picks, bro. I'd be picking TURs over the LR. Like, to be serious. All right, we're going to keep it pushing and go ahead and add physical Bardock onto this King Yama tier. The main reason is pretty simple. He's a jack of all trades. He doesn't necessarily do one thing incredible. He can get pretty high attack. His defense can be pretty good. You know, he just does like a lot of stuff, which is pretty solid, but he's not like excelling in any particular area. I think that's probably the best way to describe physical Bardock. Like, I enjoy him. I think he's a pretty darn good unit, but I wouldn't go crazy and say like he deserves to be any higher than this, because like I said, he's a jack of all trades, which is not a bad thing. Like, that's pretty good. And yeah, so moving along, we're going into the north, south, east, west Kai tier, and we're going with Goku Black to start things off. LR Goku Black and Zamasu, absolutely phenomenal units still. The fact that they recover 15% HP at the start of turn, which is incredible. The fact that they get up to 120% attack when they get hit. The fact that if they're doing 18 key super attacks, they're stacking 30% defense for 6 turns. And even if it's only 12, the 12 key, they're doing it for 3 turns. They have incredible link set with any other Zamasu, any other Goku Black, any other Rose, which there's like 15 million of them in the game. They're incredible on all of the teams that they're on: Realm of Gods, Patara, Future Saga, Time Travelers, Joint Forces. They just have like a really, really, really solid kit that still works to this day, which is pretty surprising, to be honest, that they're still on like the level that they're at. And frankly, another unit that is on the same level that has not fallen off whatsoever and just desperately needs more linking partners is LR Bojack. I do have a feeling that they will come out with TUR versions of like the Beto and the Gokua and stuff like that, and the Zangia and whatever. They'll eventually come out with TUR versions so he can link and be on like his own team, whether it's like the Galactic, Warrior team or like the Heraclan team or something like that. But he's got 2 dead links, which are the 2 that I just named. Galactic Warriors, Heraclan, absolutely dead. You're never going to run other Bojacks with him. Maybe the physical World Tournament Bojack if he ever gets an awakening, because he is just normal Bojack, not full power Bojack. But this dude's phenomenal, like 80% attack and defense. That's where he starts at. And if he has full HP, he's going to give himself an additional 70% attack, which is incredible. And as he loses HP, he's going to gain defense, which is incredible as well. But even with like the 2 dead links, now on JP that they updated the link skills, bro, Big Bad Bosses, Thirst for Conquest, Revival, Shadowing the Limit, Legendary Power, those are actually like 5 fantastic links right there. And he's going to share those 5 with a lot of units. And I know we're talking about global, but even still, those 4, because Big Bad Boss is like, actually, you know what? Big Bad Boss is a pretty easy link to get. You can drop below 80% HP pretty quickly. But Thirst for Conquest is incredible, especially because he's on Terrifying Conquerors. So imagine him right next to Strength Cooler. Like, he's just going to do incredible things. And if you're able to get that 18 key super attack, he's going to raise all extreme class allies attack by 40%. So he's still a fantastic card. And I'm surprised that people don't put him higher up on the list, because I do think that he's incredibly, incredibly strong. And yeah, I'm still a big fan of Bojack. I still bust him out once in a blue. Another unit that I'm a big fan of is LR Baby. And of course, if Artificial Life Forms has to become better, and it needs an actual lead, because right now I do believe we only have one. We have the 130% lead, and then on JP we have a actual lead in the Tech Majin Buu, but we're gonna have to wait maybe 2 months for them to come out. Until then, on global, he'll be on this tier. When that Buu comes out, then I'll probably move him up a tier. But this guy's really solid, and like, we're getting into the tiers now where they're all good. I just have to kind of nitpick and find just little things that there's a reason to separate them from the others. But this dude lowers attack and defense on his super attack. He also just starts off with 100% attack and defense. And if he's facing pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans, he's going to give himself another attack boost, 50% for each, which is great. And then he could turn into a giant ape when you're below 40% HP, which sometimes can really save your butt. Like, sometimes you could really be in a dire situation, and then boom, you get a few more turns to inflict damage and not take any damage, which is really good. And then his links are pretty good. Like, I used to really hate Metamorphosis, but I'm starting to really enjoy the healing aspect of some of these units. So I do like that. So Baby, pretty strong. He can hit phenomenally, like actually incredibly hard. It's pretty silly. On this tier, who else I'm going to actually move on here is the LR Full Power Frieza. And I used to have him a little bit higher, but I kind of started just thinking about him more and more. And the fact that he really has to drop dangerously low to be at his strongest is a huge detriment, and I'm not a big fan of it. The only reason why he's still this high is probably, and like on the tier of like LR Baby and LR Bojack and stuff, is because he still does fantastic, even like above 70% HP, right? Even above 70% HP, he's going to be at like 110. You know, when he starts getting to like 50%, he's like 120. You know, he's still going to be able to do a ton of damage. And his 18 key greatly raises his attack, which is another great thing. Also, he's a Frieza unit. So you already know he's got great links with other Friezas, other coolers, metal coolers, mecha Friezas. Like, the list goes on and on with the amount of just fantastic units that are Frieza links with. I was trying to think of what I was going to say. But yeah, that Frieza links with is just very, very good. Another unit who's kind of held back a bit by his passive is Vegeta Nappa. Vegeta Nappa, really solid unit, particularly the Vegeta. Like, the Vegeta is just phenomenal. But unfortunately, he's tricky, right? So first off, he's got a lot of weird stuff. So 4 turns have to pass by, and you have to be below 50% HP for Vegeta to come out. Until then, you're going to be rocking 78% attack and defense, and as long as you're above 78% HP or more, you're going to give yourself a ton of ki. So it's very easy to hit your 12 key and 18 key super attacks, which are great because your 12 key is an AoE unit. So you are a fantastic World Tournament unit. And do I want to put him higher? No, I'll keep him here for now, and then maybe next LR list I'll put him higher. But his 18 key just does a ton of damage, greatly lowers defense, greatly raises attack and defense, which is great. But here's where he starts to become a problem. Here's where the nitpicking comes in, right? So he gives himself an additional 78% attack if he dodges that turn. But he's an AGL unit. So you will have to get at least one dupe and sacrifice more additional attack and crit to throw dodge in him, which is like so strange. But I guess that might be the way. Like, dodge orbs may be his best friend. So that's so strange. And what's even weirder is if you're facing more than one enemy, he gives himself 7,800 attack and defense, which is such an odd, like, they really didn't want to make this guy too strong, right? Like, it's really weird. And then, okay, he's got the additional 78% baked into his passive when he dodges. So he's got an active skill that you can do after the 3rd turn where you are guaranteed to dodge, but you drop your attack by 50%. So it's just like confusing. Like, what do you got? Do you guys want him to do damage, or do you want him to be defensive? What is the, like, what are you trying to do with this guy? It's just all over the place. Obviously, when Vegeta comes in, he's fantastic. Raises attack and defense on his 18 key, lowers attack, greatly raises attack and defense on the 18 key, massively lowers defense, which is great. Attacks effective against all types when he's got full key. Like, gives himself some ridiculous amounts of attack and defense plus key. He's just incredible. But I think he does deserve, like, now that I'm kind of just mulling it over, he does deserve to be on this particular tier. And I think I will leave him on this tier. Moving along, we're going to put the 3-year anniversary units together. I don't think anybody could really complain about that because they are so close in damage. They're so close in, you know, links. They're pretty much the mirror units. The only difference is when you get to, first of all, I think they have one link differently when they're in their Goku Vegeta form, and then when you get to Super Vegeta and Super Gogeta, I think they also share like 1 or 2 links differently. But obviously their passive changes. Vegeta counters. Gogeta becomes super effective against all types. They're both incredible. Like, they're solid units. If you guys don't know, I just did a Rainbow Intelligence Vegeta video. Go check that out. Card will probably be somewhere around here. But yeah, they're just, listen, we probably talked about them to death, so we're not going to go any further. Another unit that I think is on par with them, though, is Intelligence Godku. Now, Intelligence Godku, I know some people may say, like, he's not that good, or some people may say, dude, he's better. But I do think that saying he's better kind of, it kind of devalues the 3-year anniversary units because they are still phenomenal. But this guy's great, too. Greatly raises attack and defense on his 12. Greatly raises attack and defense for 3 turns on his 18 key, and he's greatly lowering defense, where that actually is where it starts to matter, greatly lowering defense, because that's 50% defense reduction, which is pretty good. The main problem with this guy is he has to be flooded and surrounded with pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans. And where does that immediately draw an issue? Where does that immediately draw an issue? Vegetos, Gogetas, Keflas. None of them are considered pure Saiyans, which is like mind-boggling. So you can't run him on like Realm of Gods with the blue fusions. You can't. And that's awful. That's so silly. So that's the main reason why I put him down. And I think he'll stay on this tier until they fix that. And I do hope, I mean, listen, I'm not really holding my breath for them to start adding them onto those categories. But I think if enough people make enough noise, then they eventually will. Moving along, Tech Broly I'm actually going to put on this tier. Now, some of you guys may be like, yo, Tech Broly way better than that. What are you talking about, bro? But honestly, Tech Broly is a liability on certain events simply because of his defense. I say that a lot, guys. Like, if there's a unit that does a ton of great stuff, their one drawback is usually their defense, and this guy's is his defense. He only gives himself, even when he's transformed, 100% defense, which is not enough in a lot of difficult events. Now, he does do astronomical amounts of attack, not to mention his 12 key when he's transformed, he's greatly lowering defense. His 18 key, he's massively lowering defense. So like that's a 80% defense reduction. So at that point, he's doing ridiculous damage. And if he's doing an ultra super attack, then like he's throwing a kitchen sink, bro. Like it's actually insane. And his active skill gives him full key and 48% attack. Like, it's bonkers, especially because his transformation is so easy to get to. But again, only 100% defense. He's not lowering attack when he's in his transformed state. He's not boosting his defense. He's going to get hit really hard because 100% damage, 100% defense off of his max Rainbow Star 13,275 defense is not going to be a whole lot. So I did have to dock a few points from the Broly boy. I didn't want to, but we got to, so we did. Moving along, LR Intelligence Cell going into the God of Destruction God of Destruction tier. And again, I'm already hearing you guys. I can hear you in the comments. You're flipping out right now. You're like, bro, how is Intelligence Cell better than Tech Broly? And it's simple. He gives himself defense. 80% attack and defense. And then the more HP remaining, the more HP he has, he gives himself an additional 80% defense. And if he's facing a lot of enemies, he's going to give himself 20% attack plus 1 key, which is, he's just literally a way better version of the physical cell. Like a way better version. He's greatly lowering his defense on his 12 key, greatly raising his attack on his 18 key, so he can do a lot of damage on his 18 key. And he's got a get out of jail free card, right? Unlike the full power Frieza, who hits his hardest when you're below 30% HP and you have to stay there to hit his hardest. This dude, if you somehow, I guess accidentally get to the 30% HP mark, he will full heal and transform, and at that point, this cell is godly. Like, his 12 key is massively lowering defense. His 18 key is lowering attack and defense, doing mega colossal damage. And the fact that he just gives himself so much attack, so much defense if he's getting multiple orbs, to the point if he's getting 8 orbs, the boy is going to be at a 252% attack boost and 208% defense boost. So, like, no one's really going to be able to one-shot him or inflict that much damage to him. And he's going to be able to do so much damage. So that's why he belongs up there in the God of Destruction tier. He is a very, very strong unit. Another very strong unit, LR Goku Frieza. We are throwing him into the God of Destruction tier. He's a unit that a lot of people try to put higher than where I actually think he belongs. And I've had arguments with, in the past, APT people who try to argue that this dude is like better than Kale and Caulifla, and I can't see how that's ever possible. Like, this guy is meant to do a lot of damage. What's great is he gives himself 77% attack and defense when attacking. What's not great is if he gets hit before he can attack, he gets absolutely wrecked. Like, just splattered on a wall, bro, because he's got 13,777 defense at the Rainbow Star level. So that's not going to be a whole lot to take a hit. You need to put him in the second or third slot if the enemy is attacking first. So that's a problem right there. What's not a problem, though, is how much damage he can do, especially if you can put the enemy in attack down status. He's going to give himself extra attack when he ultras, and he's going to give himself extra attack if the enemy is in attack down status. And luckily, MVP Physical 17 does attack down. The Tech TN does attack down. So there are a few units that will lower attack. Unfortunately, if he's facing an enemy that cannot have their attack lowered, then he's just never going to get that last 77% attack. And so his attacks will be limited to still a high amount, but not as high as you would want them to. The good thing, though, is he does lower attack on both his 18 key and his 12 key. So that's pretty solid. So if you have, like, for example, if you're running a Universe 7 team for whatever reason, and you have two LR Goku Friezas in your squad, and they're on the same rotation, then the first one can 18 key, lower attack. The second one is going to hit harder, just straight up. So that's pretty good. But because of, like I said, that defensive issue there, then I do have to put him in that particular spot. Another one with an issue, but who is phenomenal, is movie boss Broly, but from the movie itself. Broly, Lemo, and Chile. I always forget how to say that name. But this unit is a godly unit. Unfortunately, it's only on 2 categories, and the links are kind of wonky. Like, I was talking to the Mass Ningen about this when we did our collab, but I don't know if we're talking on video or off video, but if this unit was like a Vegeta or a Goku and had those links, he could possibly be one of the best units in the game. But because they made him a weird Broly trio team, the links are kind of wonky. So you got Brainiacs, you got Solid Support, Cold Judgment, Big Bad Bosses, Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Again, he's going to get better once the key support links, once that overhaul comes to global, because if you see him on JP now, some of the showcases, I want to say like Goresh or Jinro or Truth or somebody made a video on him already, and he did phenomenally well. But like, he greatly raises his defense on his 12 key, greatly raises attack and defense on his 18 key. Phenomenal. And you can turn him into whatever you want. I was telling Mass Ningen about this because, you know, after we did our collab, he was kind of annoyed that he didn't get the rosé. But I was telling him, I was like, dude, with the physical Broly, you can legit make like 3 videos about him. You could do one where you just try to grab as many physical orbs as possible and just see how high he can nuke, because he's going to have attack and defense per physical orb plus 2 key on top of the normal 2 key you get from physical orbs. So he's going to get 4 key every single physical orb he gets. You can just make one video with him on multiple different teams trying to get as many physical orbs, physical orb changers, support units, all that stuff, right? The second video you can do is where he's supporting other allies, because if he gains 2 or more AGL or strength orbs, then he's given all allies 39% attack. So find the best unit that he links with and then showcase them and show how good of a attack support he is. And then you can do a last video to show how good of a defensive unit he is. Grab those tech or intelligence orbs, 2 or more, and you're giving all allies 39%. Oh, and by the way, if you happen to get 7 orbs, you're guaranteed dodge. So you can make a video just showing how great of a defensive unit he is. Like, he's absolutely insane. But like I said, the 2 things that hold him back is the fact that he's only on 2 categories, Joint Forces and Movie Bosses, and his links are kind of all over the place. But besides that, he is a great, great card. Another card that's great, but unfortunately I do have to, and he's my boy. He's my boy, but I do have to rate him lower than his furry rival is Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I gotta throw him on the God of Destruction tier, and that pretty much means, I kind of spoiled that, I'm gonna put Super Saiyan 4 Goku on the God Angel tier. Now, the reason why I'm putting Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta 1 spot lower is simply because he does not raise his defense on his 12 key. And the fact that he's on Vegeta's family instead of Goku's family. And Goku's family is far superior to Vegeta's family. Vegeta's family is still a fantastic category. Still a fantastic, like, has some incredible units on it. But listen, it ain't Goku's family. Goku's family is one of the best categories in the game. You have, like, Realm of Gods. You have, like, Patara. You have Kamehameha. You have Goku's family. Just, like, insane. You know, please let me know in the comments below who you think some of the best categories in the game. But Goku's family, literally one of the best categories in the game. They have so many great units. Gobros, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, UI Goku. Like, it's just insane how many great characters are on there. This dude does start with defense and then stacks attack up to 80%. So that's good. But like I said, even though he gets the 3 key from Rainbow Orb, I have found if you're not putting him with a lot of other units that have, like, a bunch of prepare for battle or like a bunch of support and stuff like that, he can sometimes struggle to get that 18 key super attack. Or, like, let's just say you get like a bad, you know, orb drops and there's like no rainbow orbs and he can only grab like 2 AGL orbs. He's going to get that 12 key for sure. Like, he's almost never going to not super attack. But massively raising that attack, he's going to do a lot of damage for sure. But I really love that massively raising the defense. And a thing that people have to understand, because some people will say, like, oh, but he gives himself 80% defense. 80% defense is not a lot, bro. Like, he really needs that an additional 100% defense off of his 18 key to be tanky. Because if not, he can get killed. Same thing with the Goku. If the Goku does not super attack, even if he's at 80% defense, he can get killed off straight up. Because it's 80% off of the Vegeta, who's 12,981 defense at the Rainbow Star level. And the Goku, I mean, honestly, is not much better. He's at 12,931. I think actually that's the same exact, right? 12,900. Whatever. It's not fantastic. But that's the only reason why I rate the Goku above the Vegeta, is for that one thing. 2 things. Category and the fact that Goku gets defense on his 18 key and his 12 key, whereas Vegeta only gets defense on his 18 key. Another unit that's going to join Super Saiyan 4 Goku on this list is going to be the Super Saiyan transforming Gohan, who's a phenomenal unit. Up there in terms of best defensive LRs in the game, simply because of how quickly he can stack defense. Like, he's going to gain his key, he's going to gain his attack and defense every single turn, and as long as he's got a few turns to super attack, he just keeps on stacking his defense. Not to mention, on the majority of teams, he's going to do anywhere from 2 to 4 million damage. And at the Rainbow Star level, he can go even beyond that. And listen, the reason why he's not top tier is because his transformation requirement is probably the worst in the entire game. The fact that he needs either an Android 16 or just an Android straight up and then wait a bunch of turns to be able to transform and be below 59% HP, that's pretty annoying. Like, it is frustrating to say the least. Though, with that said, if you are able to transform, he legitimately is like one of the strongest units in the entire game. He could nuke. Like, I do believe he has like the highest single target nuke in the game, which is pretty wild. Like, that's actually insane that he can do that. So this dude is phenomenal. I'm not going to talk too much about him, but he just does a whole lot. Does a lot of damage, can become really tanky, and yeah, I'm a big fan of the Gohan. I just really hate his transformation requirement, but I'm pretty sure I'm not alone on that. Moving along, we're going to the Spirit Bomb Goku. Spirit Bomb Goku is phenomenal. The one thing that is a drawback for him is he has to be surrounded by Super Saiyans. And when I say surrounded, it's like they have to be on his rotation. So that's a little thing that makes him tricky, because let's just say if he's on like a Movie Heroes, right? Or let's just say he's on Final Trump Card, for example. He just so happens to be on a rotation with like the Tech Vegeta or the Strength Gogeta. Neither of them are going to have the Super Saiyan link while they're in base form, right? So that's going to be pretty tragic. You will have to wait a few turns for them to be able to get the Super Saiyan link. Let's just say if you're on Final Trump Card and you want to throw like some oddball choice, let's just say you want to throw some extreme units on there, like AGL Zamasu, LR Baby, LR Frieza, Strength Cooler, you know. Last Resort is actually pretty good with Strength Cooler on there. That's not going to be good for him. That's not going to be good for the Spirit Bomb absorbed Goku. With that said, it's not going to be, in my opinion, as difficult as finding time travelers and, you know, as the Trunks and Mai, and only having them on like time travelers and future being like their only two viable categories. Goku can be viable. You can get a lot of Super Saiyans on Movie Heroes. You can get a lot of Super Saiyans on Goku's Family. On Super Saiyans, obviously. On Final Trump Card, you can find a lot of Super Saiyans. And on Pure Saiyans, you can find a lot of Super Saiyans. And that's why he's high up there. Not to mention he does insane damage. The only thing that kind of annoys me is that he loses his defense buff on his 18 key super. He only lowers attack and defense, and then he seals, which is pretty good. But his 12 key does greatly raise defense. So let's kind of not speed round these, but we're going to go through these last ones pretty quick. The Grand Priest tier we're going to throw here. Or we're going to throw LR Rose Goku Black on the Grand Priest tier. I know he just came out, but he is absolutely phenomenal. Like, this dude does so much damage. Even at 55%, you can easily hit 6 million with just pretty good links. And the fact that he gives himself defense when he super attacks is fantastic. He benefits so much from dupes. It's actually insane. Since he's in intelligence units, he only has dodge, which can, you know, it can come in handy once in a blue. But he really wants additional orbs. He really wants crit orbs. That helps him out tremendously. But the sheer amount of damage that he can do, and not to mention he has that rage mode when you drop below 66% health, is pretty crazy. Like, this dude doesn't need a rage mode, and the fact that he has one will really save your butt for one turn where you're taking no damage and you're still going to be putting out like 2.5 million attacks 3 times, right? Like, that's phenomenal. So he's really, really good. Another unit who's really, really good, LR Gobros. I've talked about this unit enough, but I love units that fix their own problems. He has an issue. He needs to be able to stack his attack and defense and his key. He needs to be able to do a bunch of attacks to be able to get that. He does not have many key links. That's an issue. What's the solution? The fact that they make him attack, do an additional attack every turn. And if you have dupes in him and have additionals in him, then he'll be able to do. He'll possibly be able to do even more attacks. And it's attacks. It's not super attacks. So minimum, he's going to attack twice a turn. And if he only attacks twice a turn, then after 5 turns, he's completely stacked up. And his attack and defense are like over 200%, which is just phenomenal. He can do so much damage. To this day, I still believe that he's done the Legendary Goku event the fastest. I watched the video of him doing it in 6 minutes, which is ridiculous. So he's an amazing unit, and the active skill, you drop below 59%, and then you can fire it off. Does a lot of damage, which is great. Another unit who can do a lot of damage, but to me, they are probably tied as the best defensive unit in the game. Kale and Caulifla, they still are incredible. If you build a team around them, they're going to do astonishing damage. Even if you don't build a team around them, that's fine. They're still going to be doing 1 to 2 million damage super attacks, and they're going to be doing a lot of them, especially if you're facing off against, you know, Universal Survival Saga, Pure Saiyan, you know, all that stuff, right? Like, they just get absolutely nutty. And again, like I said before, if you build a team around them, then they can elevate themselves to be like the best unit in the game. If you like really build the team around them. But they're still absolutely bonkers. If you pull them, be very, very happy. They're going to clear you through almost all content. And like I said, almost all. They can clear you through all content. The main thing with them being one of the best defensive units in the game is the simple fact that not only do they stack attack, not only do they stack defense, they stack that defense very quickly because they're giving themselves additional attacks, right? So that's what makes them so good, is the fact that they're going to do multiple attacks. They can do up to 4 attacks in one turn, which is phenomenal. They're going to do at least 2, and they're also stacking dodge up to 66%. So not only will they indefinitely stack their defense, which by turn 2 or 3, they're already monsters defensively. By turn 5, forget it. They can't be touched. They're also getting up to 66% defense, or a 66% dodge. That's wild. So even if they were going to get hit for 12 damage, they'll just dodge it. It's ridiculous. So they're ridiculous. Wow. Okay. So I actually missed one. I apologize. LR Androids, I'm so sorry that I missed you guys. I just noticed they were so lonely. You guys were probably so confused. Like, bro, is he about to put LR Androids on the top tier? No. They belong on this tier. I'm sorry, LR Androids. I'm really sorry. They're a great support unit. They do a lot of damage. They can be very good defensively. They do a lot of damage when Android 16 comes out. But the reason I don't put them higher is there's just so many Android units that you can use. And yeah, they're just solid. So we'll put them there. I'm sorry, Androids. I forgot all about you. Blue Fusions going up at the top. You guys already know, Zeno tier. They just do so much. Attacks effective against all types. Guaranteed additional super attack. Their ultimate attack is insane when they do their freaking active skill. Like guaranteed additional attacks. Their strength and tech, so they're going to have a ton of crit, which is what they really like. The Gogeta more so wants additional, and the Vegeta probably wants more crit. They're just ridiculous, guys. Like, their links are fantastic. Their categories are fantastic. They just do so many things. You already know. Another unit who does so many things, last but not least, on that Zeno tier for Global Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle, Ultra Instinct Goku Sign. 70% dodge for the first few turns. That's dumb. 50% dodge after the 8th turn or whatever. That's dumb. They stack up until they get to like 213% attack and defense. That's dumb. Like, they do so much damage. They dodge. They take, so little damage. The fact that they also get rid of guard when they super attack, so you put them in the first spot, which you would want to because they're going to stack as they dodge. And that's really good because once they super attack, the guard is gone. So now everybody else is going to absolutely wail on whoever they're hitting. And I'm saying wail as in like wail on them instead of like WHALE. Anyway, you guys understand. Listen, if you have any differences with my list, please let me know in the comments down below. I do read every single comment. And, as long as you keep it friendly, I'm more than happy to go back and forth and debate on who's better, who's worse, et cetera, et cetera. My list changes every month, by the way, because it's like the more I play with one unit or the less I play with one unit, it usually changes my opinion on it. But anyway, that's the list for this month. The next list will be probably whenever the next LR comes out for the next month, which may be at the end of August. So we'll have to see. But anyway, if you're brand new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, consider what you're doing with your life. Go ahead and gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.